When doing academic research, you will make heavy use of scholarly, peer-reviewed journals, also known as academic journals. The articles in these journals represent the original research of scholars in specific fields of study and have gone through a peer review process. Peer review is an evaluation process whereby journal publishers employ professional scholars with expertise in a discipline to review submitted articles for quality and credibility. The most rigorous form of peer review involves a blind review process, where the reviewers don't know the names of the authors, and the authors don't know the names of the reviewers. Scholarly peer review is an attempt to guarantee that only quality research is published. Even though the peer review process assists you in determining information credibility, it isn't enough to determine if you should choose a specific article to support your research. As a college-level researcher, you must do a bit more digging. You must understand where a scholar stands in relationship to the research done in the discipline, and the scope and credibility of the journal in which the article is published. Many fields of study contain competing or contradictory theories, with individual scholars publishing conflicting or contrary points of view. You must understand where the author stands in relationship to the research in the field, and in relationship to other scholars. While peer review helps to guarantee that the information follows the research conventions of the discipline, and that the research was done in a credible way, it doesn't speak to how the scholarship fits with other research. You must determine these things yourself by locating information about the author and the journal. There are several ways to locate information about the article author and the scholarly journal. Some scholarly journal databases, such as those produced by the EBSCO and Gale companies, provide information about the author and the journal that can help you get started on evaluation. Here is an example from the EBSCO Academic Search Premier database. This is the article record for How State Regulation of the Internet Violates the Commerce Clause. If I were writing a research paper related to the role of government in regulating the Internet, this article might be of interest to me. But before I decide to select this article to use in supporting my research question and research focus, I need to determine the credibility of the author and the journal. The name of the article author is underlined in blue in EBSCO records, which means they are hyperlinks. When I press on the author's name, the database performs an author search and locates all the articles in the database published by the author. There are 26 records in the Academic Search Premier database of articles written by Dan L. Burke. As I look through the articles, it appears that they deal with topics connected to copyrights, patents, and other issues related to intellectual property law. I notice that most of the articles are published in legal journals, many of which appear to be associated with top law schools. I will look at one of Burke's recent law journal articles. There's a footnote after Dan L. Burke's name in this record that wasn't found in the Cato Institute Journal article record. When using EBSCO academic journal databases, pay attention to these footnotes because they provide you with useful information about the author. Looking at the bottom of the article record, I find a note which tells me that at the time of publication, Dan L. Burke was Chancellor's Professor of Law at the University of California, Irvine. This is useful information since my next step is to search for information about Dan L. Burke on the Internet. Knowing where Professor Burke works allows me to focus my Internet search. I will go to Google and do a search for Dan L. Burke, University of California, Irvine. This search pulls up many useful results. I will check the first few items. The first link is to a page of information from the UC Irvine Law School, where Burke is a professor. This official webpage from the University of California Irvine Law School provides a great deal of useful information to help me evaluate this author. I learned that he is a founding member of the law school. He is an international authority on issues related to technology, patent and copyright and biotechnology law, and electronic commerce. I also learned that he has taught at top-level universities in the US and in Europe. Looking at his recent publications, I see that they are all related to his areas of expertise and that they are published in legal and academic journals. I see that he is quite active in giving lectures and speeches at national and international seminars and conferences. I also see that he has earned several academic awards in the past few years from what appear to be major professional associations and institutions. He has also been written about in the media. All of this tells me that Dan L. Burke is a major scholar in the areas of intellectual property, biotechnology, and technology law. I also see that he has numerous academic degrees in the areas of microbiology, biochemistry, and law. I notice that Dan L. Burke is a Chancellor's Professor of Law. I'm not sure what that is, but I notice that there's a link to Chancellor's Professors on the left side of the page, so I will check that out. Chancellor's Professors of Law are endowed positions awarded to UC Irvine Law School professors who demonstrate unusual academic merit. This award is given to select professors who demonstrate excellence in their areas of expertise. This tells me that Dan L. Burke is an important and influential person in his area of study, and that I should take his arguments in writing seriously, whether or not I decide that I agree with his arguments and point of view. I will next look at his Wikipedia page. His Wikipedia page confirms what I have already learned about Burke and adds a bit more useful evaluative information. From the information I have found, I consider Daniel L. Burke to be a very credible source who takes the position that government should have a limited or well-defined role in regulating the Internet. I will return to the EBSCO Academic Search Premier record to locate information about the Cato Journal. I click on the journal title in the source field. I see that the journal is published 3 times a year and is peer-reviewed. I also get a brief description of the journal, which tells me that the journal is published by the Cato Institute. To learn more about the journal and the Cato Institute, I will press on the web page link provided in the journal database record. I learned that the Cato Institute is a public policy research organization, or think tank, dedicated to the principles of individual liberty, limited government, and free markets. This means that the Cato Institute is a classic libertarian think tank. I also see that it was founded in 1977, so it has been around for quite a while. I also learn a bit about how Cato is funded. And it appears that the Cato Institute's research interests fit with their decision to publish the article by Dan Burke on how state regulation of the Internet violates the Commerce Clause. Burke's argument against state regulation of the Internet appears to fit with the Cato Institution's libertarian perspective, and it makes sense that they would publish the article. If most of Burke's research were published in journals by organizations such as the Cato Institute, it might imply that he is an ideological libertarian. However, given the fact that most of his research has been published in major peer-reviewed legal journals, it appears that while he argues for limited government regulation, he is not a doctrinaire libertarian. After doing this background research on the author and the journal, I can begin to situate Burke's arguments within the broader research in this area, and compare them with other arguments and perspectives that I locate in my other sources. I can follow a similar process when using an academic journal database produced by the Gale Company. Here's the same article record in the Gale Expanded Academic ASAP database. However, the full text of the article is not in this database because Gale was not given the rights to publish it. Just like in the EBSCO Academic Search Premier database, I can click on the author's name and the database locates the articles written by the author in the database. However, unlike EBSCO databases, none of the records provide additional information about where the author works. When I press on the name of the journal, the database provides me additional information about that journal. However, the information isn't quite as detailed, and there isn't a link to the journal or the publisher's website. So I would need to go to a web search engine and search for the journal title or publisher, and then go to their website to gather the information. Whether the database provides information about the article, author, or journal, you must locate that information to determine the credibility of the author and to place the information in the broader context of the research in the discipline. Academic research demands that you clearly understand the sources that you cite. This ends the Evaluating Scholarly Journal Articles tutorial.